guys, this is Aromie here. Welcome back to Random Breeze Hollywood. We are here investigating the agent. I kind of really, even though I know this is a stupid ass choice and it's not gonna do anything to progress the story, I want to go watch a movie. Honestly, I just was in the mood for all of this. Big Girls Don't Die was double featuring with Attack of the Martian Swamp Cows 2, and frankly speaking, I deserved a break. Wait, I can legit go to a movie? So I spent the next couple of hours in a movie theater smelling the nostalgic scent of overpriced popcorn and watching amphibious cows eat people alive. It was a good time, but by the end of it, I hadn't gotten any closer to finding Trace's agent. I didn't know that was a real thing. With that thought raining on my brave spirits, I returned to the streets. Let's just go ask for information. Rumors and potential witnesses were probably my best bet. I had to remember I was dealing with mortals, though. I wasn't sure if that made things easier or harder. I wandered around for a little while, talking to a few people who seemed like they hung out on the street. Prostitutes, pimps, dealers, and the homeless. But most of them weren't willing to talk, and the ones that did talk hadn't seen the agent. Just as I was starting to get frustrated by my string of failures, someone on the street caught my eye. A middle-aged man leaning on the wall outside of a storefront, his eyes intently flickering over the people passing by. Flicking. Not flickering. He looked like the type of guy who probably drove a white van with tinted windows and carried chloroform in his back pocket. But with that keen stare, he might have seen something. And then, without pausing to reconsider my questionable decision, I quickly approached him. Well, hello there, honey. The man's eyes roamed over my face, crawling down my body. Judging from his eager, predatory smile, I probably wasn't dealing with some pleasant gentleman out for a smoke. Hey, I was wondering if I could ask you a question. I'm looking for a Latina in her mid-30s, gray suit, blue shirt. You've seen her. I'm just gonna be like, hey, I was wondering if I could ask you a question. He didn't even seem to be paying attention to what I said, judging me from the way his gaze was still roaming over me. Excuse me, my eyes are up here. They're pretty too, just like the rest of you, honey. And I'd like to see the rest of you. Oh yes, I would. Okay, you motherfucker. Listen, this is important. I really need to find her. Oh, it can't be that important, honey. I'm sure she could wait. What the fuck? We can talk about whatever your little heart wants, but let's have some fun first. Well, this was a waste of time. Now wait, we can have all sorts of fun together, I promise. But I was already turning away. Oh. There was a pretty high chance Sleazy Slimeballs didn't know anything. And even if he did, I probably wouldn't be able to get it out of him without debasing myself. Maybe it was better to try and look somewhere else. Hey! As I headed further down the street, a different voice called out to me. I turned to see a young woman hurrying up to my side, some human I'd never seen before. I overheard you talking to that guy back there. He's the manager at the shop I work at. She giggled, twirling a strand of her hair around her one finger. Shop? Like a brothel or what? I'm so sorry. It's really not that bad. Anyway, I was out on the street with him the other night when I saw that girl pass by, the one you mentioned. My boss, he wanted to go on a date with her or something, so he followed her down that side road, that one back there. She flicked her thumb over her shoulder towards the alley at the end of the block. Did she go inside somewhere? No, that's what's so weird. My boss said she vanished somewhere in that alley, but I don't know where she went. It's a dead end. It sounds like you're her friend, so maybe you can figure it out. You look like you know what you're doing. Yeah, and it's not going to be you. What? 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 I don't get this one. That's because I do see ya. Sure, bye. Sorry, I had to be a bitch because these are the only choices I've left. Turning around, I made my way towards the alley the girl pointed to, keeping my eyes out for any sign of a struggle. But I couldn't see or smell anything, just a putrid mix of urine and sweat. Oh no, that means when I encounter what's-his-face, he's gonna kill me because I'm gonna be bitch. And when I wandered further in, I realized why they thought the agent disappeared. It was very much a dead end. Except for the manhole leading to the sewers. If the agent was chasing someone or running from someone, it seemed like a perfect escape route. Knowing I had to be on the right track, I grabbed the manhole cover and easily yanked it off. A damp, smelly darkness yawned at me from below, but unfortunately it seemed like the only way forward. Hey, little mouse rat thing, I don't know what you are. After clambering down the ladder, I I forgot there's two of them. One right here, one right there. I stepped off the bottom rung into murky, shallow water. A few rats darted away, squeaking in terror, like I barged into the private meeting. I really hadn't come to LA expecting to splash around the sewers, but life was just full of surprises. I cautiously made my way forward, trying to spot any sign of the agent. The stench of sewage was almost unbearable. It was bad enough as a human, but as a vampire, I felt like I was snorting a line of garbage. Ugh. Ironically, just a few hours ago, I've been lounging in my extravagant hotel suite, and now here I was getting intimately acquainted with LA's waste. In the middle of all that filth and vermin, I pondered how a shit hike was good practice. If I wanted to get anywhere in my own life, I'd have to get used to the filth beneath the surface. This was probably just the beginning of my descent, and the worst was yet to come. The further I ventured into the sewers, the more uneasy I felt. My sharpened instincts jumped at every noise, every strange flicker of light, and yet nothing came out of the darkness. Then, over the awful smell of LA's various waste, I suddenly picked up a different scent. Blood. But it was strangely acrid, a warped version of the sweet smell I was used to. I followed the bitter scent down several tunnels, staying on high alert. Closer. It was so close now, and anticipation filled my empty gut. I rounded yet another corner, and then the smell stopped. It was strongest right here, but I couldn't see anything but water and floating garbage. Had I missed something? Just as I was about to turn around, my gaze fell on a ruined TV lying on a pile of clothes. It looked unnatural, out of place, and the water around it was a different color. But as I stared at the TV set, I slowly realized I wasn't looking at someone's discarded trash. The screen was torn out, but instead of exposed wires inside it, I saw a mangled head. That pile wasn't just clothes, it was a body. I always get scared that it might show me what it looks like. With a chill creeping up my spine, I slowly stepped closer, studying the corpse. When I realized its features, my stomach clenched in dread. This was Cherise's agent. At least from what I could tell, her body was completely mutilated. Someone had opened a hole in the bottom of a TV and stuck it over her head. Back away. Unable to bear the sight any longer, I shrank back. Before I could turn away, though, I noticed something lying at the corpse's feet. It was a small piece of oddly bright stationery, printed with almost mechanically perfect handwriting. It's always the same. It must have been a note from the killer. Cherise would definitely want to see this. I bent down to gingerly grab the paper, folding it up to stick in my pocket. At that moment, I felt something on my shoulder. A cold grass squeezing tightly. Who's there? No reply. Whatever was behind me didn't move, didn't breathe. But just as I realized I recognized its presence, you may want to watch your back a little more carefully in the future, sister. Oh, right, it's Markus, I forgot. A low droll echoed in my ear, and the hand on my shoulder slowly turned me around. Oh, I thought it was the creepy guy. There stood Markus, his pale eyes shining brightly. I'm glad it's just you, Markus. How did you sneak up like that? Was that really necessary? Yeah, like, was it necessary? He could have just asked me. What the fuck? Why, of course it was. Everything I do is for some purpose or another. Although many times I don't figure out that purpose until much later. Turning away from me slightly, Markus lowered his gaze to the gory mass of flesh that was once Cherise's agent. I saw a keen interest in his eyes, almost fascination, not the look you'd usually observe a mangled corpse with. I gather the Red Queen sent you here. She will applaud your investigative skills, no doubt. Tell me, just what do you believe happened to this unfortunate soul? She ran into some twisted psycho who decided to kill her. Someone was chasing her and caught her. You believe so? What if she willingly walked into the abyss, not knowing where it would lead? Perhaps she was chosen for a purpose, or else just another victim of fate. Hands clasped behind his back, Markus strolled towards the corpse, circling around it with an analytical light in his eyes. The bottom of his long coat swished in discolored water, soaked and dripping, but he didn't seem to particularly mind. I suggest you tread very carefully around this matter, Chico. There's a sense of formless malice in the air, a festering loathing that something created. Do not underestimate the wretched. Why are you here anyway? To investigate? I'll find whoever did this and make sure they don't harm anyone else. I can't, no, because I kind of want that dude to be on my side. Why are you here anyway? To investigate? In a certain sense of the word, yes. I am not here on orders, merely scientific curiosity. As Marcus's calm drawl echoed off the walls, putting me slightly more at ease, my body seemed to suddenly remember the stench around me, making it difficult to not gag. It was the acrid smell of the agent's blood, churning in my gut, even overpowering their scent of rotten flesh. As if sensing my thoughts, Markus took a deep, long sniff of the air, his eyelids fluttering closed. Are you enjoying this smell? If you're puzzled as to why the smell of her blood is so wretched, beyond the advanced state of decay, of course it's because of a rather curious phenomenon. He wandered back towards me, observing my face intently. To a humankind, vampire blood is wonderful, intoxicating, a drug beyond any other. In fact, it gives them certain temporary powers, usually a very weak form of their donor's own. But to other vampires, another Night Stalker's blood is the most repellent taste on Earth. A rare few of our kind can drink vampire blood without throwing it back up, but in most cases, we are all but toxic to each other. So even if a vampire drinks another's blood, they don't get any powers. I guess whoever killed the agent wasn't out for her blood then. If they were, they certainly made an atrocious mess of it. But I suspect they had other uses in mind for her, whatever they may be. Markus tilted his head to the side, exhaling a quiet sigh, his thoughts seeming to drift off somewhere else. Ah, well, enough of such morbid trivialities. Trivialities? I should be crawling back to my shop, but before I do, I want to mention something that you may find important. Can't we just talk about kittens or something for once? More cryptic bullshit. Those are the only two choices I got, so I'm gonna say kittens. By that, are you implying that kittens are not somehow important? Markus eyed me severely. Now, despite what you may think, what the fuck, I offended him. The number of vampires in Los Angeles is fairly low. Most of us all know each other, at least each other's names. And that's exactly why word about you will spread faster than herpes in a game of spin the bottle. In fact, I have a mind to believe it's already spreading. Everything you do or say will get out somehow, so keep that locked up in your mind somewhere, safe and sound. They can talk about me all they want, I don't care. As admirable as I find your self-assuredness, you may want to reflect on the shaky ground beneath your feet. Sharice's hounds will keep you from leaving the city, which means you're at the mercy of other vampires, for now. Consider associating more with your fellow stalkers of the night, indeed as often as you can, not just the vampires who share your beliefs either. A creature is corrupted when they hold in higher esteem those who agree with them rather than those who don't. Make allies, or at least observe your enemies, because someone will always find a fantastic excuse to hate you, even if you make Jesus look like he wasn't trying hard enough. You can find our kind everywhere: the slaughtering house, the abattoir, I mean to say, the streets, the bar, the beach, the hotel. It's just a grandly in a half circle with one hand, as if using the surrounding filth to symbolize LA. And you know where my den of depravity is, of course. Time to jumpstart my vampire social life. Feels like high school all over again. I don't know, I have a hard time getting along with other people. I kind of do, but then I remember him saying something like, oh, you're just gonna have to, so we're just gonna do a time to jumpstart my vampire social life. So it does. Who will be the prom regent of Los Angeles? I await the finale with bated breath. He exhaled a long, quiet sigh, not exhale, smiling wistfully for some reason or another, probably not from sympathy. You could be my prom king. But just as he turned to leave, Markus paused, throwing a sudden glance back towards me. Oh, that's right. Why don't I pick you up tomorrow at the hotel? Maybe we'll have another sojourn in my shop. I've thought of a further step for your unorthodox tutelage, assuming you're not too scarred from your first visit, of course. What? I had a great time. Just don't make me arrange dildos again. I had a great time. Marvelous. I do love an enthusiastic worker. I thought we were companions. Keep up your splendid performance, and you may end up a candidate for Employee of the Month. I'll let you imagine the prize. He raised two fingers to offer me a casual wave, eyes glinting behind his glasses. As Markus disappeared around the corner, his presence rapidly faded, almost as if the darkness had just swallowed him up. For all I knew, maybe it had. With the killer's note in my hand, the image of Sharice's dead agent burned into my brain. I made my own exit. Back on the street, the driver had been patiently waiting for me. Of course, he said nothing as I climbed into the sedan, even though I probably smelled like all of LA's bodily waste. Surely even he wondered sometimes who was being paid enough for all this. The glimmering hotel lobby welcomed my return with a warm lamplight. And this is where I'm going to pause for today's episode. So, I'm pretty sure we're getting closer to the point where it's not the same dialogue. Like, this is like prologue technically still, until we can actually focus more on Markus. But I feel like I am also going to focus on helping the Bavar as well. just because I don't want to die again. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.